whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
Thanks for joining us on the Nikki Medoro Show live on YouTube. We have a great show coming up. We will continue to talk about the Nashville shooting. More information has come up about the shooter. Apparently there's some sort of manifesto that I will not be reading. I will also ask you guys during this segment, did you watch any of the police body cam footage? And then we have to get into, obviously, the fact that this transgender shooter did target a Christian school where she apparently attended. And is this a hate crime? Josh Hawley, who, he's an idiot. He's a big J6er, totally supports all that crap. Do I agree with him when he says that it's a hate crime? You tell me. Other things we're going to be talking about today. I have a very exciting interview scheduled for tomorrow. I'm going to be speaking with a teacher about why her school district has banned first graders from singing Rainbow Land. This is in Wisconsin. Rainbow Land is a song by Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton, and they've banned it. I think you could probably fill in the blank of why they would ban it, but I'll be speaking with this teacher. She's been doing a ton of interviews since the story broke. First, she was like, I'm exhausted. I won't be able to do it today. But she decided to come on tomorrow. And I'm so excited because I not only want to talk to her about the decision and kind of the reaction to it, but she's a teacher. And she's in Wisconsin, not the Bay Area, And so I really just want to scratch deeper beneath the surface of this whole issue and what it must be like for someone in Wisconsin versus somewhere in like the Bay Area. Not saying the Bay Area is perfect, but definitely a lot more liberal when it comes to stuff like that. Is there a new N-word that I wasn't made aware of? So there's a Mississippi news anchor that's out of a job because she said an N-word. An N-word, not the N-word, did not say N-word instead of the actual N-word. I'll play you the actual video of her saying it. And then you tell me is this like yesterday's discussion about digital blackface? Are we going way too far down this where we're losing sight of the real issues? So we'll talk about that. The Ticketmaster lawsuit has begun. We will delve a little bit into that. Is anything really going to be done? Is LiveNation and Ticketmaster really going to be broken up? A woman is hospitalized after another TikTok trend prank thing. I have video of that. And you'll have to tell me, is it annoying, this prank, or is it literal assault? And what would you do? What would you do if you were on the receiving end of this prank? But before we get to all of that and so much more, do me a favor, guys. Can you click that thumbs up button? It's right below your screen. Just click it once. It helps us out. I'm without Kim today. She is under the weather. I just want to say something about that. She is like one of the hardest working people that I know. And she really didn't want to call in sick. After yesterday's show, I mean, she was coughing. You could hear it in her voice. And it's an interesting kind of, I think, dilemma that people find themselves in when they work from home. I'm like, woman, you could call in sick tomorrow. It's okay. Obviously, the show is not going to be the same without her here or anything like that. I was like, you can call in sick. She's like, I know, but I mean, what's so bad about just getting up out of bed and sitting and doing the show? But you're not feeling well, my friend. Like, there's a difference between just staying in bed and sleeping all day and not doing much, not talking, right? Which, when you have a cough, it's very hard to do. So I'm glad that she's actually taken some time for herself. And, obviously she's not here today. If she's not here tomorrow, she's not here tomorrow. This is the thing about, I'm my own boss. I'm looking at him, I'm like, hey, take tomorrow off. It is not a big deal. It's not the same. We love having Kim on the show. It's amazing, but you have to take care of yourself. And I'm very happy that she is doing that. So please click a thumbs up for Kim McAllister too. The super chat, of course, is live. Look for the $sign, even if you're watching in replay. And you can donate to the show directly this way. Any amount. Small amount, large amount, super chat, super sticker, super comment. We'll read your comments during the show. So if you want to do that. Thank you to all of my Medorables, as I love to call you guys, for becoming monthly Patreon subscribers. Just go to thenikkimedoroshow.com and sign up to become a monthly subscriber. Any amount that you can. If you watch the show every single day, maybe you can kick a little more in. If you are just trying out the show and I see you guys, I get notified when you bump up your donation. So you've been donating a certain amount and then you've decided to bump it up. That just makes me feel like you're enjoying the show and you want it to continue, because we are 100% crowdfunded. A big thank you to tax attorney Steve Moskowitz, who was our founding sponsor. He donated for several months. And so now we are looking for other ways of monetizing the show, because it's completely crowdfunded. And while I hate having to do this every single day, we need to do it or we can't continue the show. There's also my email address, thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com. You can do PayPal that way. You can reach out to me and send me emails. And then you can purchase some merchandise later on the show. We'll check out the Nikki Medoro Shop website if you haven't been there yet. We have blankets now, which aren't too thick, so you can use them all, year long, but they're nice and cozy for right now when it's freaking freezing. I want the weather to warm up. I'm a sun baby. I just really, really need the sun to come back. And I do want to give a shout out to my friend, and thank you, Lori, for bringing this to our attention. Chip Franklin is going to be on Real American. I thought it was Real American. Maybe it's Really American. I thought it was Real American on YouTube, and it starts at 2:00. So right after this show, head on over to that and check out Chip Franklin. I love Chip. He's a really good friend of mine. I hope to continue working with him in the future. And if that ever happens, then of course I will let you guys know. Okay. Pardon me. I might be getting Kim's cold through the computer. First off, let's do a little bit of, I was saying how it was cold. Did you guys see this? Do I have the picture? It is nuts, the weather that is happening right now. Look at this picture. This is San Francisco. The wind and the rain that's been happening right now shattered even more glass on those high-rise buildings. They are saying that you need to avoid, if you're in San Francisco, of course, the area of Mission and Main and Fremont streets because of shattered glass on a high-rise building. What the hell is going on in San Francisco's high-rise building? It just seems insane. Others, I heard somebody being quoted at this, I think this was a San Francisco city official, was basically saying, this is happening in the Windy City, Chicago. Why is it happening in San Francisco? So just be aware. The good news, and I'm totally not joking when I say this, if you're out and about, I hope you're carrying an umbrella. So hopefully if glass does fall, it doesn't hit you, but that's freaking dangerous. And there's also this picture that I loved seeing. Now this obviously, it's not in San Francisco, but look at this picture. Look at that. That apparently, I think that's a Carl's Jr. Yeah, it's a Carl's Jr. And this is in Mammoth Lakes, actually. I thought it was up in the Sierra. In Mammoth Lake, basically, they've had 381 inches of snow. That's almost 32 feet of snow this season. And so apparently they were digging out just to get people their Western bacon cheeseburger fix. That's how much snow there has been. It has been insane. Sergio Romo has officially retired as a Giant. I mean, if you've seen some of the videos and the interviews, that's pretty cool. I love when athletes get to retire with the team that they're known for the most. And I just feel like, whether it's Jerry Rice with the Niners or whatever, when you say a certain name, even if they've been on other teams and even done well on other teams, Frank Gore came back. He's working for the Niners organization now. There'll always be a player of that team. And I think Sergio Romo is that. But look at this interview. Hold on, where is it? Here it is. And here he is being interviewed Obviously retiring as a giant. Here's what he had to say.
Where did you get the sign you had? So these are all a bunch of kids in spring training that asked me for autographs. I know I was only there for roughly a week, but I was trading autographs with kids. They asked me, hey, can you sign this? I'm like, well, can you sign mine first? And if this is the last hat I'm going to wear, and I figured if this was the last hat I was going to wear in the big leagues and be able to compete in, I figured it'd be nice to not go in there alone. It's going up on my mantle. This is going to go up there as something that I'll always remember. It's a treasure of mine now. So, a bunch of kids on my hand.
I just think that's so sweet, right? I mean, it's so awesome. And so I just want to say congratulations to Sergio Romo for an awesome career. And I thought that was pretty cool to do that with the kids. And I also wanted to start off the show with some positive things because, of course, now let's get into Nashville. Okay, I was really upset yesterday. Let me know in the comments, how did you explain, if you guys have kids or have kids in your lives, what'd you say? I want to know what I said. And I don't, part of me is just thinking, did I do the right thing? Did I even preface it the right way? I took Nugget, my dog, for a walk to my parents' house. And I was walking with the kids because it was after school. We were actually walking on the way back. Something kind of like triggered it in my mind. And I looked at my daughter and I just said, it happened again. She knew what I was talking about, which is this is what it was. Thank you. Thank you, Brian, for reminding me. We were walking and we were talking about how and where you can get into their school and how secure it is and how not secure it is, or in areas in which I think it could be improved. And that's what triggered. I keep saying triggered, which is a terrible word to say, but it reminded me about what happened in Nashville. And I looked at my daughter and I said, it happened again. And she knew what I was talking about. And so it was just one of those things where just as I feel like deja vu when I have this conversation with all of you, every time this happens, every time it happens, it's kind of the same with my kids. I can't say it a different way for the impact to be any different than the last time I had the conversation with them about it. And that's really tragic. It's so sad that that this is the society that they live in. Now, when I heard that the shooter was transgender, I was like, great, here we go. Right? Like that matters. And maybe it does. You guys tell me. Does it matter that she's transgender? I'm going to say this. I think it does, only as far as motive. But I don't know. And I'm not going to speak for them. And I will preface all of this, and I will start this conversation. I will end this conversation by saying this. There is no excuse for what she did. None. You're a 28-year-old person. Those children, those 9-year-olds, those teachers, they didn't deserve what happened to them. That school did not deserve to have somebody come with a weapon, shoot out the glass doors, go in there and just kill whoever came across their path. There's no excuse. So I'm not making an excuse, but what I am saying is I could see how it could lead to motive, perhaps. Perhaps. Now, I am not reading this manifesto. I could give two about it, okay? Let the police sort it out and try to figure it out. Now, we could come up with stories, of course, in our head. Was this person part of the LGBTQ community while going to this school? Something was said at the school, and so they carry this hate and animosity towards the school. Blah. Those things, possible. Does it excuse it? No, it does not. A lot of people face hate in this world. every freaking day of their lives sometimes and don't go and shoot innocent people. They don't. Okay. So this is not an excuse. So what do we do? You know, a lot of people, I had posted this on my Instagram page. I did a short yesterday teasing the show. And I'm like, it's the guns. How could it be anything but the guns? And then somebody had written a comment saying, how can it be anything but mental illness? And I'm going to make the point again that I made yesterday. Okay, it's mental illness. If you have a country filled, apparently, with mentally ill people, don't you think we should do something about their access to weapons? Don't you think we should at least maybe reinstate the assault weapons ban? It's a start. It's a start. But apparently, and I'm laughing because I'm like, wow, okay. If it's brutal honesty, you can't say it's not. This is Tennessee Republican Congressman Tim Burchett. Tennessee. Okay, so the state in which this happened, saying the quiet part out loud, but I guess it's not the quiet part anymore. It's really not. Because it's true. And it's sad because it is so true. So I have 3 sound bites I'm going to play for you. And it blows me away, but here we go.
3 precious little kids lost their lives, and I believe 3 adults, and the shooter, of course, lost their life too. So it's a horrible, horrible situation, and we're not going to fix it. Criminals are going to be criminals, and my daddy fought in the Second World War, fought in the Pacific, fought the Japanese, and he told me, he said, buddy, he said, if somebody wants to take you out and doesn't mind losing their life, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do about it. 3.
So what do you think about that first statement? If somebody wants to kill you, there's not much you could do about it. Now, on one hand, yeah. And look, if somebody barged into my house right now with a gun and shot me dead, there's not much I could do about it. But we could do something that could hopefully change the path of that person, the course of that. I feel like there are things that we can do. You know, this apparently the gun was legally acquired. The guns were legally acquired, which means the laws allowed it to happen. Okay. Here's some more from this Tennessee congressman talking about, you know, whether or not there should be any role for lawmakers like himself to do anything about it. Here we go.
Do you think there's any role for Congress to play in reaction to this tragedy? Obviously, this is your state now, but It's happened in every other state.
Oh, it's happening. It doesn't matter what state it's happening in. We're all Americans. It doesn't matter the color of their skin. They all believe red. They're believing a lot. I don't see any real role that we could do other than mess things up, honestly, because of the situation. It's like I said, I don't think a criminal's going to stop from guns. You know, you can print them out on the computer now, 3D printing, and there's really, I don't think you're going to stop the gun violence. I think you've got to change people's hearts. You know, as a Christian, as we talk about in the church, and I've said this many times, I think we really need revival in this country.
I think we need a revival in this country. So again, let's not do anything about the guns. Let's just bring God back into society. Now, on one hand, I believe in God. I've said this to you guys over and over again. For me, it's not about the specific religion. It's the fact of which religion they're talking about. Christians. And I was born and raised Catholic. So it's not that I have any sort of offense to that. But they want to impose a specific religion to revive in this country. Let's not fake it, right? He's not talking about any and all religion. He's talking about a specific one. That's the difference. That's the problem. We have religious freedom in this country. You know, it's in the same Constitution that these people use to defend the right to have guns, just all over this country, right? So let's just be clear what he's actually talking about. But what about, the ability to fix it? What can we actually do so that kids can go to school and parents don't have to worry that they're not going to be coming home? Well, here is the congressman's answer to that.
What should be done to protect people like your little girl from being safe at school?
Well, we homeschool her. But, that's our decision. Some people don't have that option, and frankly, some people don't need to do it. I mean, they don't have to. It just suited our needs much better.
Thank you.
You good?
Yeah.
So, if you're just scared, just homeschool your kids. And I love how he says, and people are calling him out on it, we homeschool. Well, I'm sure you're in Washington. But whatever, and I'm not knocking homeschooling if that's what you want to do, but that's not an answer. The answer to violence and school shootings isn't to just remove all the students from the school, man. That's not the answer. I did go on some social media pages for people in Nashville, okay, just to kind of see their response to it. And I was quite surprised to see a lot of comments of more guns. We need more guns. We need armed guards in front of every single door at schools. More guns are the answer to this problem. And I'm just disheartened by it. Other countries don't have to do that. Why don't other countries have to have armed guards outside every school? I mean, their politicians and lawmakers and celebrities are still protected by security with guns, because this is the analogy. Oh, lawmakers want to be protected by security with guns, but we can't protect our children with guns. This is the argument that they try to play. Other countries have politicians that are protected by armed guards and yet still don't have to use those in front of their schools. Why? Why? And it's simple, because they don't have the same fascination with guns that we do. Guns, 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 more guns, bullets everywhere, blood spills everywhere. And it doesn't change any politician's mind. What's his face? The liar in chief, Santos, and some other people were wearing the AR-15 lapel pins not too long ago. Why would you wear that? Why? Except to score points with a certain type of voter. It's a weapon that kills people. I don't care what you say. A gun is used to kill. That's it. Whether you use it for hunting, you're killing animals. If you're doing target practice, there's a target. It's to kill people. There's a difference between wearing, let's just say, a rainbow pin that is supposed to express your support of the LGBTQ community, because that doesn't kill people. So, okay. Now, Josh Hawley, like I mentioned, says this should be treated as a hate crime. You guys let me know in the comments if you think that this should be considered a hate crime. I'm going to say yes. I am going to say yes even before I've read the manifesto. Okay? There are several reasons for me to say this. I think that if this happened at a historically Black church or college, if this happened within a synagogue, there'd be no question, right? People would go, it's a hate crime. Even before they read a manifesto or anything else. There's no difference here. There's no difference here. I don't think that you go to a Christian school that you used to go to and it's not a specific target against you. I just don't. I think that if you're going to treat one as a hate crime, you treat this as a hate crime. And I do think it's a hate crime. I think that you have to have hate for whatever that school represents to do what you did. Am I wrong? Is there something I'm missing about why this wouldn't be a hate crime, but other things would be? Oh, Amy disagrees. Absolutely not a hate crime. Why? Why, Amy, do you not think that it's a hate crime? How is it not a hate crime? OCB asks. I mean, again, If this happened inside a synagogue, if it happened inside a black church, I don't think this would even be a question. So why wouldn't it be if you go to a Christian parochial private school that you actually used to go to? Why would you not consider that a hate crime? Explain it to me. Eric says, Nikki, I'm not going to call it a hate crime yet as we don't know all the details. True. Okay. But I think I'm going to err on the side that it is. I'm going to err on the side of that it is. And of course, I could be wrong. Absolutely. Well, Anonymous asks a pretty good question. If you hate a religion because the school sexually abused you, is it a hate crime? Just a hypothetical, because we don't know if this actually happened to this person. Yeah, that's a good question. If the motive has more to do with the people that worked at the school versus the religion of the school, would it be considered a hate crime? That's a good question. Do you hate Christianity or do you hate the people that work for the school? And that's definitely seems to me to be a valid question. If your school follows a certain religion and that religion leads the people within that school to say certain things that are hateful to you, is that a hate crime? If my religion encourages me to call people an abomination, if my religion encourages me to tell people that they're going to hell, if my religion encourages me to discriminate, is it a hate crime if I shoot up that school because I feel that the religion in and of itself is treating me that way? It's a tough question. And the reason why I'm having a hard time with this is because I don't believe, and I know many people, I'm close, I'm related to many people that are part of religions that one could argue encourages its members to treat people or say those things to people of, let's just say, of the LGBTQ community. But I also know people that are part of these religions that are extremely supportive of the LGBTQ community, that even though the religion or some people within that religion use the teachings of their religion to judge other people on that, others don't. So that's why I have a hard time with this kind of black and white. Oh, if you go to a Christian school, then you must be against the LGBTQ community, because I don't think that that's universally true. So then again, that begs the question, is it a hate crime? Electric writes in, police have yet to determine the motive, this person writes, living in a hate-filled society where the gun power revenge fantasy is a major addiction. I don't know how we can, as a society, come together when we judge people so harshly, myself included. I am not absolving myself of any criticism that I give towards other groups. I call out politicians. I call out other people for what I feel are terrible stances, failures to protect people, in my opinion. Them discriminating against others. I'm not an angel in all of this, but I don't think any of us could say that we aren't. But what I try to be is as inclusive as possible. I try to say, you can believe in whatever way you want to. If you believe that homosexuality is a sin, you can believe that. I can't stop you from believing that. But what I don't think that you have a right to do is to, one, tell other people that they are a sinner. I know a lot of people, and Catholic Christianity included, judge not, lest ye be judged. And if there's a lot of judging going on, and you could, I'll say this, you could judge people all you want in your head. You could pray for them. You could do all those things. But when you take it upon yourselves to go up to people, to protest people, to take away people's right to marry or have children or whatever, to make their own personal decisions with their own personal lives, then I think that that's a line too far. Like, you don't have a right to do that. You have the freedom to live your life under whatever religious rules you want to, but you determine you. When you start hating on other people, when you start telling people who they are, when you tell people that God doesn't love them, when you say that you're pro-life and yet don't care about the lives that are living in front of you, I have a problem with that. I do. I don't understand why we can't just love each other, why accepting people for who they are, even if you don't understand it, even if you don't agree with it, what is the harm in accepting people for who they are? Oh, okay, you're transgender. Okay. Explain your life to me. Help me understand. I don't understand. But instead, it's like so many people just turn out, oh my God, you're an abomination. You're going to hell. That's not how God made you, blah, 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 blah. And they don't seem to see the correlation between that judgment and that hate and this quote unquote mental health problem that so many in our community have. What is the harm in accepting people versus the harm in not accepting people? You know, and that's what I think we need to come to terms with. I think we need to understand that it is our own judgment of others whose lives are not like our own that leads to tragedy. But I don't know if we're really going to be able to do anything about it. Here's a former prosecutor who was on MSNBC kind of talking about, you know, one, the displays of guns within Congress, that support, and what he thinks really can be done about it. And I feel like we are turning this page where I fear we're giving up. I feel like it is becoming so common that Tennessee congressman was absolutely correct, that we're not going to fix it. Here's that comment.
I'm politicizing it just as much as those House members who decided that it was a good idea to wear AR-15 lapel pins and walk around Congress as if these things weren't happening. Where are they right now? What's going to be their statement? Because we don't need another round of thoughts and prayers. And so when you talk about politicizing this, show me what your priorities are. Show me how you are constructing budgets that are intended to address the health and well-being from a mental and psychological place of American citizens. Show me in a real way beyond sort of just throwing more money, more metal detectors, bulletproof classrooms, arming teachers, these solutions that essentially only feed the violence that is in America's DNA. Where is your concern there? Until then, you can't talk to me about politicizing this, because all you've done is call a rose something else by another name.
But you don't think this is going to in any way change the narrative around violence or guns or school shootings in America, do you?
Unfortunately, it won't, Chris. And I think that we, like I said, we will likely see a greater push to change everything about this conversation other than access to guns. Because, of course, there's the rallying cry of this is not a guns issue, this is a people issue. Well, then what are we doing about people? That becomes my immediate question. How are we investing in opportunities and spaces that are going to address that from a people end, as opposed to focusing on schools and all sorts of other issues? I think that this is a very unfortunate space, and we've learned over and over again, whether it's Uvalde, whether it's Sandy Hook, we do not have the type of regard for the lives of our children and our educators and their safety and public safety in such a way that is going to move this needle. And until that becomes a priority, Chris, this is not going to be a conversation that really moves anywhere forward at the type of speed or pace that it needs to.
Well said. Well said. I am really scared that this is just going to be, this is it. We're just going to live with school shooting after school shooting after school shooting. I don't know if there's any law besides the assault weapons ban, because we did see it reduce mass shootings. And then we did see them tick up after the assault weapons ban was allowed to sunset. What was it, 2004? Did it sunset? We can't have honest conversations anymore about solutions, it seems like. The quotes and the comments are the same. We don't change anything. Oh, it's mental health. Okay. So it's mental health. Should we have free healthcare and mental health care? No, that's socialism. You see? You see the circle that we're in? But no, let's waste time. Let's waste energy. Let's waste money. Okay? On bickering about books. Right? You know, and again, more details are still coming out about this shooter. And I think Clark Reed had said something about the school. Here it is. Clark says the school is part of a Presbyterian church. According to the Human Rights Campaign, the Presbyterian church is very supportive of gay, lesbian, and bisexual people. Okay. I did not know that, Clark. So thank you. I will say also this. We don't know about the school and this person's interaction with the people at that school. So again, you know, what are the comments that are being made, perhaps? What happened to her? I mean, who knows if it had anything to do with the school? Maybe she just chose the school randomly. I don't know. But I do know that if it was a black church, a synagogue, something else, people would be saying hate crime from the very beginning. And so I will say that too, until proven otherwise. And you can't do for one and not do for the other. If not, then you're showing in my opinion, your bias. I don't feel like, although we are really passionate about protecting children, and I'll say protecting children from all sorts of things, right? Drugs, apparently learning about sexuality and racism and all sorts of things. We don't really, though. And I'm talking about the collective we. I'm not talking about you guys, right? We don't really want to protect children. We want to protect the way we think about how society is run. That's my opinion. I need to be right. Collective I. Okay. I need to be right. I need to go to my school board meeting and say X, Y, and Z is wrong. I'm protecting the children, the children, the children, the children. You don't give two craps about the kids. Because if you did, you would keep all harmful things away from them. And yet we, in turn, saturate our society with guns. We are saturated. Tennessee, you don't even need a freaking permit. Tennessee, I think somebody said ubiquitous. Guns are ubiquitous in Tennessee. I think it's the 10th deadliest state when it comes to firearms. They don't care. More guns! More guns, more guns. And I'm not anti-gun. I'm just anti so many freaking guns. Boggles my mind. It really boggles my mind. All right, let me read some of these comments. I'm sorry, I'm doing this all on my own, so I'm just trying to, let's see. Pamela makes the point, coastal California religious beliefs is so different from Southern religious beliefs. The South is full of hypocrisy and judgment. I'll say I hear what you're saying. And that's, again, why I want to talk to that Wisconsin teacher tomorrow about them banning that Dolly Parton, Miley Cyrus song, Rainbow Land, that literally just talks about acceptance. No, too controversial in Wisconsin. And so I want to bring her on because it's a different perspective than we don't have here. But judgment doesn't know borders. I'm sorry. It doesn't. Vilma says, the Pope has said we as people should love our gay brothers and sisters, but we don't have to like what is considered a sin in Catholicism. True. But you don't have to believe. This is my statement on it. If you're Catholic and you believe that homosexuality is a sin, that is fine if that's the way you want to believe. But can you keep it to yourself? Do you have to just go and call people sinners? Because I feel that's the ego coming out. I am going to judge you as if Your God? Because only God is supposed to judge. That is what your religion says. I don't want this to come across that, that I am speaking badly about people that believe a certain religion, whether it's Catholicism, Christianity, fill in the blank, any of it. Believe what you want as long as you're being kind and good and loving your neighbor. I really don't feel like it's that hard. But when you go and you judge these people and you say, you can't do this, you can't be here, you can't be who you are wrong, you are an abomination. That's the problem. Karen says society and religion should be okay with anyone, no matter who they are, but that's not reality. There's a lot of evil in some people caused by hurt and pain and insecurity. They don't see it. Eric says, Pamela, absolutely. I identify as Christian myself, and the behavior of a lot of so-called Christians disgusts me so much. Yeah. John says, until politicians act on this rather than kick the can down the road for political gain, things won't change. There needs to be a national movement and massive protests. Yep. Randy says, we're just going to live with this until the Second Amendment is changed or revoked. It won't change. It won't be revoked. That's for damn sure. I would just like the assault weapons ban to be reinstated. How about that? Can we start there? I mean, why do you need an assault weapon? Why? Because I can. This is my Second Amendment right. That's a bunch of BS. It is. I mean, it's amazing how many people just look at the data, look at the statistics of us compared to other countries that are just like us. The makeup is similar. Canada, for instance, right? Our neighbor to the north. And they don't draw the line. Like, I don't see it. I don't know what it could possibly be. You guys are nuts. It really is so obvious. I love this, Vilma. I am in no position to judge gay and trans people. They bleed just like me. They love and worship just like the most of us. We cannot discriminate or point to their sexuality when they kill. Yeah. Kevin, get rid of the Republicans, get rid of the problem. Nah, it's not that simple. One, not possible. And two, I don't want to get rid of Republicans. I want to get rid of the Republicans that don't have a backbone, that are so obvious in their pandering to the NRA and their ilk. I like a checks and balances politically. I do. Democrats are not always right. Republicans are not always right. There needs to be debate, but honest debate. I think that Tennessee congressman, though, had it right. He knows it. He's like, oh, no, we're not fixing this. It's frightening. John, when will enough be enough? How many more innocent people and children have to be butchered? You know, what's sad is you would think that when things happen, like in Tennessee or some of these really pro 2A gun nut states, that they would kind of maybe change their mind. But no, again, I was going down these Nashville social media platforms. They're calling for more guns. More guns. That's the thing that just boggles my mind. Okay. Oh, Calvin says, and again, you guys, more information is coming out. I could change my feeling about the hate crime. I am just saying, until more information comes out, the fact that a Christian or Presbyterian, whatever school was targeted, seems like a hate crime to me. But Calvin says, I don't believe it's a hate crime yet because the second target was supposed to be a mall. I didn't know that part. So thank you for that. Yeah, it's really difficult to separate, though, when it happens at a Catholic Christian religious school, to separate the religion from the crime, right? Calvin says, no ghost guns, assault weapons ban, and raise the age to get one to 30. Well, the ghost guns, cat's out of the bag with that. I saw this one thing. I think my husband showed it to me. Where like police were doing a gun buyback with ghost guns. So you get money for turning in ghost guns that somebody could just go home and print a bunch of and then get money. See how that's difficult. It is okay. Well, John's saying there's no such objects as ghost guns. Well, ghost guns are they're guns in which you can print using, 3D printing technology, parts of the gun. And I do know for a fact that can happen. So I do know that. Okay. Well, I know that we're not going to solve this. We do often, though, talk about, okay, so if the guns are staying, what should we do? Right? And some people, we need more mental health. We need more counselors for these kids at school. I mean, how are we talking to the kids about all the violence that's happened in the school? We need smaller class sizes. We need more teachers. We need all of these things. Yes, we do. But instead, like I keep mentioning, school board meetings are filled with parents who are scared, not about guns. Oh, it's the books. There was a story. This is in Oklahoma, or no, not Oklahoma, Virginia. Listen to this. Listen to this. One Virginia school district added $500,000 to its budget just to process public records requests. In the span of 3 months this school year, an Arkansas district received 100 requests that cost nearly $20,000 and 400 hours of staff labor to fill. In Minnesota, the 61-year-old director of human resources is plowing her way through Freedom of Information Act requests from a citizens group that wanted all mentions of Black Lives Matter, institutional racism, and whiteness. It's already consumed $165,000 of the district's money, 2,200 hours of staff time. This is what you want to talk about, chunks of money being wasted. There's a perfect example. You are tying up staff time. You are using much needed school district dollars because you're trying to protect children from learning about racism. Our priorities, like I've said before, are so effed up in parts of this country, it is mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling. School districts across the nation are facing mounting piles of records requests from parents, community members, attorneys, all who want greater transparency about how local children are educated. You want to know a quick and easy way of knowing what your child is learning? Ask the teacher at the beginning of the school year. I can't imagine. Schools across this country are very different in the fact that you have a back to school night where they lay out it right in front of you what the children will be learning this year. That's too difficult for some parents. You mean I need to be involved? You mean I need to check my kids' homework and reading assignments? Yeah. Try that first before we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in much needed school dollars filling records requests that you're going to do what with? Seriously, that you're going to do what with? Because the problem with introducing so many, or let's just say every single parent into decisions about curriculum, is you're going to have so many parents' opinions about what should be in and out. That's why we set up the system the way it is with school boards and school board meetings and times in which you can let yourself and your opinion known. But you're telling me that the most efficient way to run the public education system in this country is to allow every single parent the right to weigh in on every piece of curriculum? Is that what I'm hearing you say? There will be so much time wasted and taken away from our children's education because of it. Let me say that again. So much time and education will be taken away from our children at a time when they need it. Those hundreds of thousands of dollars, if we're going to put it into anything, put it into more teachers, smaller class sizes, more counselors. That's what these kids need. What they don't need is every Tom, Dick, and Harry spewing their racist opinion about what books a child should read when we all know they didn't freaking read the book. They didn't get educated on the book. They received no schooling on the book. It's so upsetting that we live in a society now where everyone feels like they know best. If you don't like the system of the public education system, you have the freedom to pull your child out of that school. If you want to know every single piece of curriculum and have a say in it, do it at home. I can't afford to do that. My tax dollars go to public. Then let them do it. You're handcuffing these school districts that need the freedom to just educate their kids. You're taking it away from people that are experts in their field, that have been educated in education, because you think you know best. The ego of so many people in this country thinking they know best. I know what's best for my kid. Then take your freaking kid out of the school if you know so much. That's fine. Homeschool them. Do your own curriculum. No one's stopping you from doing that. Because what's going to happen is the more parents, the more cooks in the kitchen we get within deciding what's taught in our schools, the more fighting there's going to be and the less educating there's going to be. Am I not making sense here? Do you not understand that we are hurting our children under the guise of protecting our children? We're feeding them this narrative BS where, oh my God, don't you feel like you're the victim? Don't you feel like when they teach about racism, don't you feel like they're attacking you? And then all of a sudden the kid's like, I guess. I mean, you're telling me I'm supposed to be. Instead of just saying, yeah, we have a dark history with racism. The effects that can still be felt today, and it is up to you and your generation. We are so inspired by your generation because you're more inclusive and you don't judge people by the color of their skin. And you take the time to learn about the history so you don't make the same mistake. Why not look at it that way? But it's just too difficult for some people. It's just too difficult for some people. I am just so, I don't mean to be so negative today. I feel like it, but I'm so frustrated with the so-called adults in this country that just don't have it in them to be better. All right, let me read some more comments. Ron, I feel sorry for kids from the South. They're not getting the education everyone else is getting, but then they get in the real world with the rest of us and are uninformed. I wouldn't just call out the South, Ron. It's not just happening in the South. Believe me, it's happening in California. It is. We have to stop thinking that it's happening over there. And again, tomorrow, I'm so excited. Please be here for the conversation. I'll be speaking with teacher Melissa, and she's in Wisconsin. I'm going to show you a picture. I was going to save it for tomorrow, but let me show it right now. So her first graders at her school, again, and this is in Wisconsin, are not allowed to sing a song called Rainbow Land by Dolly Parton and Miley Cyrus. Here's some of the lyrics. Living in a rainbow where skies are blue and things are grand. Wouldn't it be nice to live in paradise where we're free to be exactly who we are? Let's all dig down deep inside, brush the judgment and fear aside, make wrong things right, all things right, and end the fight. And people in Wisconsin got upset at those lyrics, saying it was too controversial. You want to know what else? They were going to ban Rainbow Connection. You know the song Rainbow Connection? You know that song? I'm thinking they backtracked on it because parents were like, no. We're getting a little too nuts about this because it's the rainbow. And apparently the rainbow is too LGBTQ for these people. So they were gonna ban the song Rainbow Connection. And they backtracked on it. So I'll be speaking with teacher Melissa about this tomorrow. And I want you to join us because it is important for us to hear what's happening in other states from the people that actually live there. And I love that we have, Tony in San Antonio. We have a bunch of people that live in other states that are part of this community. And I love it. But this is a teacher. Oh my God, I can't imagine being a teacher. I can't imagine being a teacher and presenting these very positive lyrics to a group of parents and the parents being like, too controversial. How dare we teach inclusiveness? Right? Is this insane? It's insane. I just really don't understand how we stop it. And so I'm just going to leave it at that. We'll continue this conversation tomorrow. And I see, and I know that there's people in the comments that disagree with the way that, that I feel about this. I don't like to use the word woke, and I know I'm seeing it there. John and others are using it. It's not woke. That is a knee-jerk, right-wing talking point that distracts from the issues. Okay? So stop. We need to be more accepting of people. Look, if we understand that people have different ethnicities and different religions and different languages, if we understand that, then we need to just understand that we can accept people and not worship the same way, speak the same language as them, live in the same way that they do. But we don't have to hate them for that. Learn from them. Try to understand them. And then move on. Live your own life. Stay focused on you and your family and making that the best that you can. I have never heard a story of a parent hating on someone else in front of their kid and that turning out as a positive situation and not just passing down hate and discrimination to the next generation. What is the harm of being inclusive? That is my question to you. What is the harm in looking at children and being like, that is their family. Our family is the way that we are. Their family is the way that they are. We love everybody. What is the harm of that? Versus those are sinners over there. We don't talk to those people. They're going to hell. What world do you want to live in? What message do you want to send these kids? And what message do you think would lead to that child growing up to have love or hate in their heart? It's not that difficult to figure it out. All right. It's just not that difficult. All right. I can't believe I did a whole hour on that. Thank you guys for going down that hole with me. Kim McAllister is sick today. And so she might be back tomorrow. She might not. You know what? If Kim's not here tomorrow, she needs to get well. And you know what? I'm my own boss, damn it. And she needs sick time. She gets all the sick time she wants. Okay, let's switch gears though. Okay. First off, let's lighten things up with a little bit of look at the new stuff that I have available on my merch store. Okay, so if you guys haven't checked it out, please, by the way, click that thumbs up button. Can you guys do that for me right now? Click the thumbs up to show support of the show. YouTube likes it for some reason. It's above my pay grade to understand how that whole thing works. The super chat is also live. If you want to, look for the $ in the chat box, and you could throw some dollars our way, and it helps us out. I share it all with Kim, and so that's a way of helping out the show. But a big way of helping out the show, of course, is becoming a monthly subscriber to our Patreon. Just go to thenikkimedoroshow.com. That's thenikkimedoroshow.com. The spelling is right there. It's not a hard spelling of my last name, Medoro, but people get it wrong, so there it is. PayPal, the email address, thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com, and then my merch store. So here we go. I just really want to show you some of the new merchandise that I have up. So here's the website. Can you guys see that? There we go. Okay, so That's what it looks like. Here's some of the stuff. This black square right there. It's not the best picture. It just looks like a square, but it is. It's a blanket. So I have it in black. The logo's right on the bottom, so you can kind of wrap it around yourself. And yeah, it's really freaking cold. And so one of my viewers had messaged me and saying, we need a blanket. And I was like, all right. So I put it on this shop. It's right there. Let's see what other stuff we have going on over here. Okay, so we have that. We have the AirPods case. We have the small one and the big one, the new one and the original. There's the white hoodie, the black hoodie. That's also something to keep nice and warm. We have t-shirts with the big logo in different colors. Double check because it'll tell you whether or not your color is in stock. We have the tote bag. You see the tote bag right over my shoulder right here. We have a black coffee cup, the white coffee cup, and then we have the small logo t-shirts as well. Oh, and then I think we have the tumbler. There's the tumbler. So for all my drinkers out there that like cups that don't sweat, there you go. It comes in black, man. It comes in black. Anything you want. And hey, honestly, just like the blanket, if you have another suggestion on what you want to see in the shop, I could see. I was trying to get an oven mitt or like a pot holder. They don't offer it on the store that I use to create all of this stuff. So I might have to find it on a different type of shop and get it connected to my website. So again, the Nikki Medoro shop is the direct link to the merchandise store, and it's where you can get all of the stuff to help support the show. And we really do appreciate it because it's just another way of keeping this whole entire thing going. Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk about a new N-word, okay? Now, yesterday we had a great discussion about digital blackface, okay? And that was where you take memes of people, let's say black people, and you use them as GIFs or whatever. And some people are saying it's like the old minstrel shows because it's digital blackface. If you're not black, you shouldn't be able to use it. Well, a Mississippi news anchor quoted Snoop Dogg. Is there an N-word? Like, can you only say N-word? You can't say anything else that's not the actual N-word. And so you tell me, I'll play you the sound, and then you tell me what you see, what you hear, and whether or not it was wrong. That's all coming up on the Nikki Medoro Show. All right. Okay, so this is the second part of the Nikki Medoro Show. Kim's not here, so I had to get my stuff all situated. I appreciate all of you being here. Okay, so I am going to play you the video of this Mississippi news anchor. And she apparently is out of a job for what she did right here. And I want you guys to tell me, did she make a mistake? Was she just trying to be funny? I remember when I was in college, I got my degree in broadcast journalism. And at San Jose State University, they have an amazing journalism department. And they've actually put on a student-run TV newscast. And it's one of those things where when you're just learning, you know the banter that happens between news anchors in between segments? It's sometimes very difficult when you're just starting out to figure out what to say. I remember that would be the most stressful part of the newscast because you're trying to be clever and you're nervous because you're on camera and you're a total newbie at this and you don't know what to say. I remember I had a classmate that got busted because I don't know why he would be watching my show. I can't even remember his name right now. I'll tell you what he did though. So at the end of the newscast, I'll never forget this. So he was trying to be clever. Okay. And they were saying goodbye. They were doing their goodbyes. And all of a sudden he's like, see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, right? From Batman. But it didn't sound like that. It sounded like bad. Same bad time, same bad channel. And like we recorded this hella early in the morning. And so to us, it probably felt like a bad time. I remember our teacher was pissed. She's like, no, because this actually was broadcast on like public television. So you could actually watch it. And she was not happy that he had said that. I didn't see what the big deal was, but I'm not the teacher and she knows this is a lesson. Like you can't say those things. You have to be abundantly clear with the things that you say because it could be misinterpreted. Okay. So here it is. This is I don't mean to laugh because this woman apparently is out of a job. Okay, so I'm just going to play it for you and then I'm going to tell you what I think because it just blows my mind. Okay, so here it is. Again, this happened on March 8th. So here's the report. There you go.
Rapper Snoop Dogg is getting deeper into the wine business. He teamed up with the Australian wine brand 19 Crimes about 3 years ago to produce a red wine called Snoop Cali Red. And now he's expanding the line to include white wine. It's called Snoop Cali Blanc. And Snoop Dogg says there's nothing better.
Well, he hadn't tried anything for Julie Leavenway yet.
I agree with that.
You know how Snoop and Martha Stewart get
Had
together?
a collaboration, yes.
He ought to have a collaboration with Julie. No telling what Snoop Dogg and Julie Leavenway could come up with.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Before we know it, she'd have a Snoop Dogg tattoo on her shoulder.
A shizzle, my nizzle.
I'm telling you. Julie, what you think about that? She said.
Okay. So there you go. She said, and I'm just going to say it. So brace yourselves. She said, the shizzle, my nizzle. That's what she said, which is a line that Snoop Dogg says all the time. Now, if you were to decipher or translate the shizzle, my nizzle, which I just feel so stupid saying because I never say it. I don't ever say this. It's like, for sure, my N-word. I think I have that right. Okay. And I don't mean to laugh, but it's just so stupid, in my opinion. But am I missing something? Tell me in the comments. Was she right to be let go? So I'm kind of thinking it's wrong. Even Charlemagne the God was defending this woman. Okay. This is what he says. He's like, she can't say fashizzle my N-word. He says, oh, I guess because N-word is a derivative. Now he's saying nizzle. Even in this article, they say racial epithet. Like, you can't say nizzle. I'm saying the word because I do not subscribe to the belief that it's the same thing as saying the actual N-word. Because if we're talking about using other words instead of that word because that specific word is so offensive, which I do agree that it is, and I never say it, what's the difference between saying N-word then? Even saying N-word, those words, N-word, would be offensive, unless I'm missing something. So Charlemagne says she might not even know what that means. I'm not like, oh, we have got to stop. That's not a reason to fire a woman. Do you agree with Charlemagne? Karen says, what does nizzle mean? I don't think it means the N-word. It's in a different context. No, it does, but it's not the actual N-word. That's what I'm saying. Like, how, again, similar to digital blackface that CNN was calling it, how far down the road do we go with this? She was making a joke. And if you really want to get technical about it, she was saying it to a white guy. Now, if she was saying it to a black guy, we might be able to have a different conversation about this. But she was saying it to her white co-anchor. That's who she said it to. Which makes it seem stupid, right? She was trying to seem cool. She was trying to obviously quote Snoop Dogg, who they were talking about. I don't even think, honestly, Snoop Dogg would mind that she said it. It just seems to me like this is crazy. Flo says that phrase is in the lexicon of modern slang also. Yeah, exactly. Karen says, what does Snoop Dogg say? He probably loves it. I agree. I absolutely agree. Anonymous says, apparently they were already trying to oust her. Oh, I didn't know this backstory. Nizzle isn't a bad word. Imagine Shakespeare's vocabulary and pun on words, controversial or not, being canceled. Yeah. It's crazy. She was fired over that. Karen says, no, it was wrong to let her go, but maybe some other station will pick her up. Chris makes an interesting point. Snoop's image has been so whitewashed, it's unrecognizable from 1993. Now, Snoop has branded himself. I mean, he is a business genius between partnering up with Martha Stewart. I mean, he does a children's program with songs that are extremely catchy, by the way. Yeah, Snoop is, I'm not going to say he's whiter than Pat Boone like Chris is, but he's a businessman. He is a very smart man. If he could go from what Snoop was when I was growing up to what he is now, business genius is what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly, Mindy. It's dumb. I can't believe that she's been fired for it. I do think that we're kind of, again, I like to use the phrase jumping the shark a bit, but it does seem, we seem to like to be outraged about things that don't matter. But maybe, because of the time that we live in, the era that we're living in right now, that this TV station was like, you know what? I don't even want to get the emails, the letters, whatever. You're out. Jesus, it's crazy. Randy says, but if she's quoting Snoop's use of the word, he used it in a different context than how it's described in the Urban Dictionary. I don't know how it's described in the Urban Dictionary. It means for sure. For shizzle. This is so stupid. I feel so stupid even saying this stuff. Does anyone else find this so funny? Like just to decipher for shizzle my nizzle is just dumb. It's so dumb. For sure, my N-word. That's what it's supposed to mean. But it's just in a song. It's not saying the N-word. It's just not. It's so stupid. It is so dumb. I feel for this woman. I really, really do. It's one of those situations where I'm laughing because it's gotten so dumb. Just cracking myself. I keep thinking about how she has to explain to the people, like, what did you do to get fired? And then she has to say it over and over again. It's so stupid. It is so stupid. All right. Speaking of stupid things. Oh, and somebody had missed the announcement about Kim. Kim is sick. She's had a cold for like a week. I told her yesterday when we got off the show, I was like, woman, if you are too sick to come on, it is fine. So that's why we don't have Kim. We don't have the news update. So when the show ends because we don't have Kim here. But I'm doing it with you guys today. But that's why she's not here. Hopefully she'll be feeling better tomorrow. But if she doesn't, she won't be here tomorrow either. Yeah, Flo. I have no doubt most of us are laughing too. I just don't get. I don't, and I'm like kind of crying because it's like. I don't get our society. I really freaking don't. And I don't want this to be a knee-jerk reaction, but I feel like social media was like the straw that broke our society's back. It just makes us even stupider than we were before. And and we get so outraged over bull crap that it leads to us, it leads to tragedy, like we were talking about earlier. It talks to people losing their jobs because of the outrage that can happen online. Like we're so like, oh my God, watching out for every little thing instead of the things that actually matter. It's so stupid. It is so stupid. But anyways, this latest stupid thing, of course, is happening on TikTok. I'm going to play you this news report. And I want you guys to tell me I'm going to play the whole thing. And I don't mean to laugh because it's kind of serious. One, do you think that this is just an annoying prank or is it assault? Like if it happened to you, what would you do? Okay. Because a woman was injured. She tells her story. And so then you guys let me know what you would do. Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there. And then I'm going to show you some more video of the actual prank. But I do think she makes a point here. This is the point that I'm going to make. I could imagine that if something like this happened to me, I would be just like her. I'd be looking over my shoulder because now I know it can happen. Now I know because I'm a victim of this, that it happened to me, that I'm constantly like on the lookout, right? So again, I do think she has a valid point there. What do you think? Is it a stupid prank or is it assault? OCB says, I'll say it's not just a prank. Eric says it is assault. And again, it goes around on TikTok. And I went on TikTok and I looked for some of these videos. And what they also do, you guys tell me if you would fall for this nonsense. So what some of them do is they have two buckets. I think you saw it in that video too. So they'll put it on one person's head and then they'll put it on their own head. And then they'll act like, oh yeah, somebody just came and put this bucket on my head. I would totally not believe the kid. We're standing next to each other. So you're telling me that somebody else just magically floated away and put a bucket on both of our heads? No, moron. It's you. You did it. It's so dumb. And I know that some people, oh, it's harmless fun. Oh, that is so funny. Like, so on Facebook, they had a video of it. Did I save this screen? I don't think I did. And people were like, oh, people need to lighten up. It is so funny. Thank you so much for my laugh today. Do we just not know how to laugh about these things? Or is it keep your damn hands to yourself? What's a good prank? Have you guys, let me know in the comments, what's a good, wholesome prank that doesn't harm anybody, that doesn't destroy anybody? Is lighting poop on the doorstep in a bag on the doorstep a bad prank? Is that bad? Is it bad too? Is it bad to find dog poop, put it in a paper bag, and put it on somebody's doorstep and light it on fire? Is that bad? Karen says, dropping water balloons on my sister. Water balloons. Although if you do it to a stranger, that could be assault. I'd be pissed if I was walking and somebody threw a water balloon at me. Unless I knew it was happening, right? Yeah, Anonymous is making a good point, though. It's a stain on society when kids don't understand respecting elders just for a few likes. And I'll go beyond elders, just respecting people. I think that's, not to kind of get on a soapbox about this. Kids can get, believe me, I have 2 middle schoolers. So I hear the stories. Kids can be little punks, and kids have always been able to be punks. Believe me, I'm not saying that this is a 2023 problem. But it does seem that the level of disrespect is more prevalent because it's able to be shown to other people, right? So it's not as if teenagers didn't mouth off to adults. It's just now they do it and then they put it on TikTok and then it spreads and then it becomes this thing that's happening everywhere. Again, social media is such a bane, man. It is so difficult. I use it. I'm literally using it right now, but it is a pain in the butt to rein in the impact that it's had on society. It absolutely has. Jim says, wholesome pranks, saran wrap the toilet seat. What's happening on Saturday? April Fools. What kind of pranks do people do on April Fools? Wholesome pranks. Let's see. Eric says the last good prank I pulled was switching my son's cereal spoon with a fork and seeing how long it took him to notice. See, that's a good one. Toilet papering somebody's house used to be a prank. A friend of mine, an adult, just had her house toilet paper not too long ago by other adults, by the way. Of course, she had to take all the toilet paper off before it rained again. Karen says lighting dog poop is called a flaming mow. I did not know that. A flaming mow? Okay. Yeah, Michael says it's all fun and games until you do it to the wrong person. Mindy says, just watch America's Funniest Home Video and you will see pranks that border on assault. Funny for the viewer, not so much for the person being pranked. Yep, exactly. Ron says, I'll preface this by saying I have the maturity of an 8-year-old. Same. But we used to send bright neon-colored envelopes to friends from Booger Eaters Anonymous or Bedwetters Anonymous, and it got a few laughs. That's kind of fun, except, and I'm just going to say this, then all of a sudden somebody posted on social media, and then the person gets bullied all the time for being a bedwetter, and then they have mental health issues. It's just honestly... Oh, that's a good one. Square says switching the salt and pepper at the top near the cap. That's a pretty good one. Oh, yeah, the Kia thing. Remember? So people were on TikTok sharing how to hotwire whatever Kia, get into it or whatever. They caused insurance rates to go up or policies to not be written at all. I had to take my car in to get a software update. April Stools from OCB. That's funny. I didn't know that. John says Justin Bieber got in trouble for toilet papering somebody's house. I did not know that. Al Anonymous says fake winning lottery tickets, which could just be heartbreaking, right? Ding dong ditching, true. Or forks in the lawn. Okay. David is not a fan of pranks in general. Most are mean-spirited. Even innocent fun has the potential to go way wrong. Yep, absolutely. Michael says, a good prank is to wear khakis and a red shirt and help people in Target. That's really funny. That's funny. But yeah, I think that these TikTok challenges, these TikTok pranks, you know, I was sitting with my kids at dinner the other night, my husband and I were, and I don't know, I forget what we were talking about, but probably some sort of stupid TikTok prank or something that was shown online. And both my kids were like, oh, you'd kill us if we did something like that. And not literally, like I would never beat my children. But I'll tell you, it made me a little warm and fuzzy inside for my kids to know that I wouldn't put up with that crap. Right? And it wasn't anything really that serious. But, you know, and my kids can be punks. You don't think my daughter has a mouth on her? She's my daughter. Absolutely. But I check her. Go, wait a minute. I hope you don't talk like that. I hope you don't do that. Don't be a moron and do these stupid pranks. You lay your hands on somebody, somebody's going to lay their hands on you. You gotta instill this in the kid. You can laugh at things, but if you don't have a conversation with them about why it's wrong and why they shouldn't do it, they're going to find themselves in trouble. Chris says, I like to pretend to be a mannequin in Target as a prank. That's really funny. Filling the sugar bowl with salt. That's a good April Fool's one. That's a good one. Yeah, that's funny. All right. Let me see. What do I have left? All right. I have a couple more stories. I did want to get to this one. I can't forget. It all has to do with this lady right here. She started it all. She did it all. Of course, T Swift. I will say this. I am so bummed that I was not able to get tickets to the Taylor Swift concert. I like Taylor Swift. My daughter likes Taylor Swift. I like so many of her songs. I was really, really bummed that I wasn't able to. Well, today is the first day of the lawsuit that has been filed against Ticketmaster for the whole fiasco surrounding the Taylor Swift tickets. I do have sound from a news report. I think this was on Good Morning America. So I just have the sound. So here's a little bit of people that were outside of the courthouse talking about why they're so mad.
It's not fair what we had to go through to get our tickets. I still haven't been able to get tickets. I'm 25 years old. I've loved Taylor for 15 years, and I saved up for months and months for the Eras Tour. We knew it was going to happen. I had $500 saved, and that should have been enough to buy me floor seats for what Taylor wanted to sell her tickets for. But unfortunately, LiveNation stopped that, and so it's wrong. We need to end the merger.
It was a really frustrating experience trying to get concert tickets. I haven't experienced that before. And I got an Instagram ad for the lawsuit, and I looked into it more, and I really think that it's something that resonates with people all across the country. I don't think that LiveNation and Ticketmaster should have been able to combine.
I don't think that they should have been able to combine either. Quick story. So I was going to sell, I think this was last year, I was selling some tickets on Ticketmaster. Now, again, the thing that bothers people so much about Ticketmaster beyond the difficulty in getting the tickets is all the friggin' fees. I mean, so many fees. So you would think after paying all these fees to get the tickets that, hold on, I have to sneeze. Pardon me. I'm not going to sneeze. I lost it. After paying all these fees, if you wanted to resell them, there wouldn't be that many fees. Do you know that if I wanted to sell a ticket, they were going to take like $60 from me to sell a ticket. It was like $30 a ticket. I want to sell 2 tickets. It was like $30 in fees that Ticketmaster would take back. I already paid you. How much in friggin' fees? I should be able to sell something that's mine now because these are my tickets. It's such a pain in the ass. And Ticketmaster is so awful. I know OCB says $500 for 4 seats. She's full of it. There's no freaking way. I bet you floor seats for Taylor Swift, even on Ticketmaster, were more than $500. I bet you it was like $1,200 or something like that. Yeah. RJ Dunn writes, I'm so glad I listen to small market unknown metal bands that top out at $30 a show. I'm the same with reggae. I am so happy that I can still get reggae tickets for $25 most of the time. If I want to go to a festival, it's like hundreds of dollars, of course. But usually it's a weekend festival or something like that. But yeah, it's nice. But at the same time, I like big name mainstream shows. And I want to be able to get decent price tickets. But Taylor Swift is not the only artist that is caught up in all of this conversation about breaking up Ticketmaster and LiveNation. So is Drake. So Drake's ticket prices for his It's All a Blur tour with 21 Savage has spawned a class action lawsuit against Ticketmaster. Apparently, Drake's accused the ticket giant of price gouging. Oh, actually, not Drake. A Montreal man has accused Ticketmaster of price gouging, claiming that after purchasing 2 official platinum seats for the July 14th show, oh my God, for almost $790 a piece, the price for the same tickets plummeted to $350 the next day following the announcement of a second show. So it was almost $800 one day. Then all of a sudden Drake says, you know what? I'm going to add a show, and the price plummets. The suit claims that Ticketmaster intentionally misleads consumers for their own financial gain. It also alleges the company was aware that Drake would perform 2 nights, but intentionally concealed the information to squeeze money out of fans. What do you think about that? I mean, on one hand, I think more shows is great because it does, obviously, as in this case, brings down the ticket price. But I feel like all shows should be announced when the tickets go on sale. Because then one, maybe I wanted to go the other day, right? Information is best. And 2, if I think that there's only going to be one show, I can justify spending more for the ticket because it's going to be my only chance to see the artist. It really, it bothers me that Ticketmaster is hiding this information. I don't know if Ticketmaster and LiveNation can be forced to split up. So the plaintiffs in the Ticketmaster case are asking Ticketmaster to award them at least $2,500 in damages. But they say it's more about giving everyday fans a better chance at seeing their favorite artists. One person told CNN, I tried in total 41 times that first day to get tickets. It kicks you out of the queue and you're back in, and then I keep getting errors. Then I again spent a couple hours trying to do it the second day. When I finally got in and was going to buy tickets, they were $1,400. I don't know what the answer is here. I know we like the technology. We like to be, online and be able to do that, and be able to buy them. But it's a scam. Absolutely, it's a scam. And I really feel like if Ticketmaster was being sincere and wanting to do the best for fans, then it would keep the prices low enough. And if you got in early enough, you got the tickets. But they keep jacking up the prices, even over the price that the artist wants them sold for. And it's absolutely ridiculous. So this is just the beginning. It's going to be a long lawsuit. We'll keep you up to date because, whether you like small bands or big name bands, it's going to matter to you if you ever use Ticketmaster to kind of buy these things. All right. One final story that kind of has to do with music. This actually came out last week. And here's my question. I don't know how stuff like this happens, but how rich do you have to be to not notice that $100 million has been embezzled from you? Jewel is speaking out about losing a fortune. She was on this podcast. It's called the Very Well Mind podcast with Amy Morin. And the 48-year-old singer-songwriter Jewel reflected about her volatile relationship with her mother. She says that her mother, Nedra Carroll, allegedly stole more than $100 million from her. She says, I didn't really realize what my mom was until I was 30-something. I woke up and realized she'd embezzled all of my money, over $100 million. She said, and then as I started investigating the truth about what my mom had told me in my life versus what was true, I had realized that pretty much everything I had formed my reality off was fiction. She said she realized her family separation following my parents' divorce was not for the reasons she initially thought. She said, my dad did not take us from my mom. He actually did a good thing, realizing my mom left because she didn't want to be a mom. She said that about her scary and she said that about her, what she calls a scary and terrifying childhood. She said that having to go back as a 34-year-old and rework your psyche was not fun, but was powerful. She says she realized that I'm $3 million in debt. My mom stole it. Everything I thought my mom was isn't what she was. God, that's got to be tough. But $100 million being embezzled from you is nuts. But, it made her committed to her mental health, and she advocates for the mental health of others, which is very, very important. She's the co-founder of a new mental health platform. But again, it's in the Metaverse, which I just found to be complete BS. But she says accessibility is critical. And that's why she's partnering with a virtual reality platform, Innerworld, which offers peer-to-peer mental health support for free. So it's a virtual reality-based wellness center where people can use an anonymous avatar to access free mental health tools in a safe space. It combines evidence-based mental health support with the immersive power of social virtual worlds. Anybody hang out in the metaverse? Do you guys do this? I find it to be complete BS. I feel the more that we are taking people away from reality and putting them in virtual reality, crazier we're going to be. Like, this is the world. We need to understand it. We need to stop scrolling and slapping VR Oculus crap to our face and understand what's happening right in front of us. But apparently, anyone can attend live mental health support groups in the virtual reality in the metaverse or on your Mac, PC, iPod, iPhone. Unlimited group sessions cost, and it starts at $8 a month. That's actually not bad. That's really not that bad. Jewel also co-founded the Inspiring Children's Foundation, which helps at-risk youth in Las Vegas. So, I mean, she's putting her money where her mouth is, it gives me pause whenever we're combining, certain technologies like virtual reality and the metaverse. People need to come to grips with what's happening in their world. Okay. We can't strap on a virtual reality mask and block out reality. It's separating us from each other. It's separating us from our humanity. We need to be more in real contact with people, eyeball to eyeball, hand to hand. We're too separated. I don't want to act like I'm on this pedestal that I don't do it. I'm not on social media, and I'm not on the metaverse. I do find that to be total BS. But I'm as guilty as the other person of being online too much or whatever. But I don't think that separating ourselves from each other is the answer. I totally understand the want, right? I don't want to even deal with so-and-so. I don't want to deal with this drama. This is ridiculous. But we have to be, more empathetic to each other, more accepting. Going back to what we started this whole show with, what is the harm of being inclusive versus the harm of rejecting people, rejecting one another, rejecting each other's lifestyles? What good does it do separating ourselves in that way? When has there ever been good that has come from this? From othering each other, right? I mean, how do we make the world a better place? To quote Michael Jackson, I feel like. How do we make the world a better place by doing that? I just don't think that we can. I really, really don't. And I feel like we just need to understand each other more and not less. All right, real quickly, can you guys click that thumbs up button? I hope to get Kim back on the show. I know we're ending a little bit early, but we had no news or anything today. So you can reach me on my email, the Nikki Medoro Show @gmail.com. It's right there at the bottom of your screen. Also, you can do PayPal donations that way as well. I do want to thank Flo. Flo with a $20 donation into the super chat. Let me read the comment real quickly. She says, the issues of F the gentle, positive rainbow song say so much about the divisiveness, eroding empathy going on. Woke is such a tired, misused word too. I hope Kim gets well. Thank you for your great show. Thank you, Flo. And again, tomorrow, I will be speaking with the Wisconsin teacher whose school district banned Rainbow Land, that song by Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton. I mean, Dolly Parton of all people. So we're going to hear from teacher Melissa about what happened, how it happened, how that conversation went, how they even thought about canceling Rainbow Connection, the song Rainbow Connection, if you can believe it. That's where we've gone with this. But thank you so much, Flo, for the donation. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Don't miss tomorrow. It's going to be great. Hopefully, Kim will be back if she feels up to it. Please support both Kim and myself by becoming a monthly Patreon subscriber. TheNikkiMedoroShow.com is right there. You can sign up for any amount you want to. You can even bump up the amount that you want to donate. We really do appreciate it. Just go to TheNikkiMedoroShow.com. The link to our Patreon and past shows is there. So, and make sure you subscribe, hit the bell. Make sure you don't miss any part of the discussion. You can listen to it on our podcast as well. Spreaker, all the podcast apps. You can find The Nikki Medoro Show. So you can find it anywhere where you like to, of course, listen to your favorite podcasts like this. And again, we'll have a great conversation tomorrow. I appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you so, so very much. And here's Jacob.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.